My name is Mohamed Shukri. I am an accredited speaker. I am a Toastmaster. I'm a trainer, consultant, father of 5. I'm from Bahrain, and I've been speaking around the globe even before it was virtual, and now it's easier to speak in East and West and South and North. But really, we're looking for a license to speak. A lot of us don't think that we are eligible to speak. Who am I to deliver a speech? Speaking is on social media, especially on online platforms or digital platforms. It's not for me, it's for someone else, someone who has the eligibility to speak. Well, guess what? Tonight I have news for you. Aloha, Greg. Good to have you, Greg. Thank you. Hi, Rob. Okay, hi, Rob. What a surprise. So, can anyone really speak? Tonight, you'll be surprised that each one of you actually can speak. And it's not only about the ability, the competence, that comes later, but actually the license to speak. Yeah, I remember when you got your driving license, were you a perfect driver by then? Or maybe you were, but before you get your driving license, you weren't allowed to drive, but after you got your driving license, you had the license to drive. So you drove in the roads and streets, but then step by step you become more competent in driving. So competency comes later, but the license, you have to have what it takes to be given the license. And guess what? The license for driving is actually for everyone, right? And so is speaking. Of course, if you reach the eligible age, but how about speaking? You know, on one side, everybody's doing speaking. Everybody just clicks the mic and goes live and speaks. They don't need permission. They just speak. Say whatever they want to say, share whatever they want to share. And on the other spectrum, many people watch, listen, and never dream of speaking. You may have something you want to share, you want to speak, but you just cannot click that live button, and you don't have the guts, or you think you don't have the legitimacy to press that button and speak. Don't you? Didn't you want many times to share something on the social media? You saw someone speaking and you say, oh my God, I can say better than that. I can say better than that, but you didn't actually. And what's stopping you? So what's stopping you? Okay? And so it's the license actually. You think that what's stopping you from speaking is probably, I don't know how to start, I don't know how to end, I don't know how to formulate my ideas, organize my ideas, maybe my voice, maybe I don't like my voice. You think of all these things, and maybe, fear itself. I cannot speak in front of a camera. These come later. Brother, sister, these things come later. You don't have to have all of these before you start. Did you have to know all the roads before you get the license to drive? You just start, you get the license. So what you need is what I'm going to give you tonight, the license to speak. Actually, dozens of reasons that you can speak, and you should. Sometimes some of the reasons will tell you should speak actually. And although silence is gold and silence is better than speaking, but for some of the aspects, some of the ideas that you have, some of the thoughts that you have, some of the opinions that you have, actually it's better not to keep quiet and share with people. Share with your followers or your audience, your specific audience, whether it's in business, in relationships, in whatever industry. So I'm going to give you the license to speak tonight. Actually, there are dozens of them, so that you never have a speck of a doubt that each one of you actually has more than one license to speak. Okay? So this I hope you have your pen and paper, because you will have too many ideas, too many topics to talk about. But I want to ask at the beginning, if anyone can write in the comment, why do we speak in public? Okay, so make the word public speaking general. Okay, it can be through a platform like this. It can be digital platform. I mean, it can be through your meetings, your work environment. Maybe you have a general staff meeting. Maybe you have a pitch to deliver, a proposal that you have to do with speaking. But why should we speak? What do we speak? What do we share? What do we send? What do we communicate in public? You can write your ideas down there in the comment. What can I share? What can I communicate to people? I mean, of course, we know you can converge. You can have a conversation with your colleague, with anyone, actually, business associate, with potential clients. You can have a conversation. Nothing's stopping you. But I'm talking really about an amplified version of conversation. The amplified conversation. The conversation probably is the one I'm having right now. So what makes me go live and speak? Do I have the license? I'd like to use license, okay? The right. Do I have the right? The grant. Who granted me the grant to speak? So I'm going to give you tonight the grants that will allow you to speak. We're not going to take a full hour as the live show allows, but I'm going to share with you. So first of all, I want to say that this program is supported by CMC Project Initiative / Initiative. This is the Champions Make Champions project, which has launched in November, beginning of November, the Best Speech Bootcamp. All what you need to know about creating, crafting, and communicating your best speech. It's a bootcamp. It's 24 workshops delivered by 19 champion speakers over 6 weeks. The program has started on 1st of November and it will end, the workshops, will end on 9th of December, but of course, joining the program anytime is possible, and you can catch up with everything that you missed, because a member who subscribes to CMC Best Speech Bootcamp can actually have access to everything they missed or will attend, plus other features. You can visit the page CMC. Anyway, so here we go. We need a license to speak. So what do people have the right to talk about? When you share something with someone, what do you share? Yes, hello from Sri Lanka. So what do we share with people? What do we communicate to them actually? Think of one-on-one communication and then amplify it to public communication. So what do we communicate? If anyone can write down anything, what do we communicate? Yes? We communicate ideas, information. Yeah, people need to know things, okay? The media communicates all sorts of things, right? And so you need to communicate information, news, okay? What else do you communicate? You communicate so many things, and do these things really, when you communicate ideas and information, they don't only communicate, content, they also communicate you, okay? What you communicate actually is not only the what, but the who you are. So who are you? And so very important to have the license to speak. What can I communicate that will actually sell my information, sell myself? Exactly. Thank you, Rob. So ideas, opinions, interests, topic can be sports, a hobby. You have all the permission, especially digitally these days, to just click live or record or Zoom link or whatever and just go and speak. But here I'm talking about what can you communicate that will build your brand, will give you credibility, and will grow you on a personal, professional level, business level. So and will make you a credible source of information. It's not only source of information, but a credible source of information, to the degree that after you deliver your information, people would love to hear more from you. Does that make sense? You don't just send information just to get some likes, right? Or, double click or like. You want people actually to have access to know more about you. It's not what you say in 5 or 10 minutes or 1 hour. It's what you want people actually to have access to in terms of probably your business, or what you can serve people with your services. So let me take you through the license to speak. And we start with my favorite thought leader on public speaking. To me, he's the father of modern public speaking. He's none other than Dale Carnegie. We famously know him for his book, How to Have Friends and Influence People, something like that. That's the first book I read from him. But there is a book about public speaking. It comes in different titles because there are different versions of it and different, modifications of it. And so Dale Carnegie basically says, I thank you, my brother Tisa. So good to see you. I communicate what I believe worth sharing. Exactly. So I like that expression. So what can be worth sharing? So Dale Carnegie says you have 2 rights that will give you the license, the grant to speak in a front of audience. 2. And they are very basic, by the way. And when I say them, you say, okay, we know that already. But they are really deeper than these 2 titles, okay? They are knowledge and experience. There you go. Knowledge and experience. Yeah, as simple as that. I should have deactivated the reminders anyway. But today, what is knowledge and what is experience? Because many people actually share information, but information is not knowledge. And information sometimes shared through a person does not reflect his knowledge or her knowledge. So what can you share that people will say, this person is knowledgeable? Because at the end of the day, when you share something and you want to invite people for more of your knowledge, and knowledge that you can help your community, your stakeholders, your audience with more, it has to be something that can go under the line of knowledge. Otherwise, we can share and forward anything, right? The quotes, everyone can share. So let's take one by one, starting from knowledge. When it comes to knowledge, people will say, okay, knowledge, I know a few things, or I know nothing, or I know something, okay? So let me give you triggers and ideas and questions that will intrigue you actually, but it will make you reflect and think, what can I really share, okay? To the degree I will be a credible communicator, a credible source of information. I know that line you might think credible source of information might apply to media channels. No, it applies to humans more actually. Even media channels choose who to speak in their anchor programs, or broadcasting programs, news or analytics. Actually, they also choose the person, because who is very important, and what that who says is important. So let's start with knowledge. So knowledge can be, let me ask you a few questions. You are with me now here, and you are who you are now, depending on your age, gender, whatever, your position in life, socially, personally, in the community, in career, okay, in whatever spectrum you are actually, you are fulfilling different roles, playing different roles in the society, okay? So now the question is, what do you know for sure, okay? How much do you know what you know? So you need, first question is, what do you know well? the basic question, then I will dissect it also, okay? So what do I know very well? And let me give you a word of caution. What you know very well might be very much underestimated. Hello, my friend Safir from India. So good to see you. All right, so what do you know very well? And you are here now, you are alive now at this age and stage. Definitely you know so much. But usually you will go down and undervalue what you know. Okay, I'm not talking about those who really overestimate what they have, okay? And they pretend that they know. They share a piece of knowledge and like they report a piece of a book. They open the Instagram, they share something that is not theirs. Happens, right? They share stuff that it's not theirs. But people at the end of the day will know if you know or not. Okay, but I'm asking you yourself, if you want to be heard and hired, again, heard and hired and rehired, you got to be meticulous, careful about what you want to share. So here are some ideas. Okay, so if I ask you a question, so the first question was, what do I know very well? And think of this in different lines. What do I know about, let me take your career. Take your career, for example, because we spend most of our times, by the way, in our careers, okay? Whether we are on duty or off duty. But actually, how much do you know about your job, your current job? Job is not a career, but it can be part of your career, or it can come in the way of your career. However it is, you have a job and you are still in that job because you know enough to run your job. So what do you know very well in your job? And what about going even deeper in your current job? What are the skills, the competencies that you see usually in the job description or your appraisal? Maybe your job is something, but it entails a number of tasks. Which one of these tasks you know more? Let's say you are an HR officer, okay? You may have to know the laws of the country you are working in, the standards of the company, and also you may have to know about some skills of talking to people and listening to them, and social intelligence is there. How about communication, about, appraisal systems? There are so many things. So if you are an HR, don't just say, I know HR. So go to each line and choose which part of that you know very well. Okay? And look in your career for how long have you spent. You can do the same actually in your other things. You actually know other stuff other than your career. For example, you know things, basic skills to run your life, in maintaining your house, maybe. I don't know. There are things you know about automobiles. Your passion probably is in one sector. You call it a hobby, but actually it's something you can sell and you can speak about, because speaking is selling, by the way. So what do you know? Concepts of design. Thank you, Nigel. Concepts of design. Visual language a bit. Good, Nigel. Thank you for sharing. Nigel is one of the stars of the CMC. Someone says, Raymond, hello, my friend. I know politics. So when you know politics, people will want to ask you, what is that? Okay, now following the US elections, for example, I wanted to know what is a specific term, what a specific term means in the context of the US policy. So I phoned my friend Raymond, and yes, he is knowledgeable about politics, so he gives me what that means. So he, and by the way, I call Raymond, okay? Let me tell you this directly. What is it that you know to the degree that people will pick up the phone and call you? Think about that. Think about that. What are the things within your job that if people get into trouble, or they lack knowledge and they want access to more information, they pick up the phone and call you. They say, or what is it that people will say, call Mohammed, okay? Call Mohammed, he knows where that is, where this part is. And just taking your career bubble, just the bubble of career, just the bubble of your current job, you will be amazed at the number of things people really call you. If you are a Toastmasters member, for example, okay, Toastmasters is an organization where leaders are made, communication, leadership, and it has a system actually, and a very well-established, organized system for us to learn public speaking, leadership, planning, management, teamwork, etc. But of course, it's a system. Sometimes you know about this system more than others. What is it that people call you for that? It makes you an expert. Remember, the key word is, what am I expert in? Maybe you don't write expert under your name in LinkedIn or anywhere, but there are things that people actually see you as an expert. You know, sadly, you don't. People see you more as a resource than you do. So think about this. What do people call you to know more about? When they get stuck, they call you for what? At home, at work, everywhere, every community you're connected to, every profession that you have a circle with. Okay, you have a circle like the accountants body, okay, chapter of accountants, or whatever body that gathers you as an accountant with people. Okay, they are all accountants, and you might be mesmerized and intimidated by these titles which comes with the accountants. Never understood them, but and yet you have something within them that you are good about, and you are probably famous for, but you don't know. So find out in your professional body circle, what do you know more? I'm giving you a lot of licenses, by the way, as we speak. So the other question is, the first question is, what do you know very well in all aspects of your life? What do you know very well? You don't know how to cook, but you know something about food, maybe. Every aspect of your life, there must be something you know very well. Otherwise, how are you managing your life? I don't know about cooking. You know how to order, right? Okay, I'm just being too simplistic here, but so what do you know? Number two, how much do you know? How long? The next question is, how long have you spent your life in this line? Let us say you know Excel sheets very well, okay? You know Excel sheets, how to do Excel sheets. But you only came to use them properly in your job as, let me say, an accountant. So for the five past years, you were an accountant. But for the past 15 years, you actually used Excel sheets. So instead of saying I'm a good accountant, you can say I'm a master in Excel sheets. Okay? That's one line, one product line where many people struggle with, and they will need you. And yet you say, I don't have a source of income. I don't know what to do. You have a lot of knowledge. Just knowledge, I'm telling you. Just knowledge. So the next question, again, the third question is, how long do you know what you know? If you have a timeline, and like a timeline like this, like a bar chart, so look at your life, what did you spend most? Let me give you an example. Now, I have been in safety for the past 16 years, okay? And I've been speaking for the past 30 years. Good? But I discovered something more. I know English for the past 45 years. I'm not going to give you an exact date of my birthday. My 50th birthday was 16th of November, there you go. Anyway, so, but I know English very well. Not very well since early stages, but I spoke fluently to the degree I never needed to go to a private school, as a local Bahraini at least, never needed to live outside. So suddenly I discovered, people told me, my clients told me, local citizens told me, can you help us with English? And I'm like, I don't teach English. You know, when you speak English, most of us don't know how to teach English. It's for teachers, but can you tell us why do you speak English fluently as an Arab local citizen who didn't go to private schools? So it struck me. And it took me a time, more than a year, to wake up to the reality that I can be of help to many people. So I invented the program which is called Me No Speak English. Many of you know Me No Speak English. It's an Arabic program to teach locals how to overcome their impedance in speaking English and lacking fluency. And it sold. Okay, it's not a big line of profit, but actually people register for it, people subscribe for it. So I forgot this fact that I spent most of my life speaking English, not health and safety. Okay? And yet I want to focus, we always want to focus on that thing which looks as a career, looks professional, looks as a vocation, because we think people will not actually buy anything else that we know. No, they are ready to buy other things that you know. Okay? And you should be passionate about it. The reason is not money, but I'm saying the license to speak. Okay? So, another question about your knowledge, what you know. Did you study what you have as a knowledge, or you got it by, trial and error, by natural way, organically you learn what you learn? Like many cooks, they have learned cooking, without studying. Later, of course, maybe they joined a master class to get a certificate, to accredit them for something, but they learned naturally. So what whatever you have learned, did you learn it, your knowledge, did you get your knowledge through studying or not? Because it matters to know the person who speaks about anything, who shares knowledge. Do you really have background, academic background? Academic is not everything. We are ready to learn from anyone, but it adds value. Maybe you've studied something academically. Do not just give your back to it. Maybe you've studied this, professionally, not academically, maybe not in school or any school, but you have paid time and money to study something. So can you teach that one? You can speak about that one? Yes, if you have the credibility for that. The next question about your knowledge. We are only speaking about knowledge. The knowledge license, we will come to experience. So have you practiced your knowledge? Don't get me wrong. You can have any knowledge. You can teach it. You can go into a college and become a lecturer, visiting lecturer about something that you know very well. Of course, you have read a lot of books. You have a very bright mind, and you have absorbed all these knowledges, information, sciences, and now you can teach. But the question is, have you practiced any of those? That's an additional advantage. Sometimes you may know about medicine, maybe you know about English literature, but you have not actually practiced it. And by the way, there are people who teach English literature, not necessarily they can make a good piece of literature. Yes, teachers can teach, but can they do? And I'm reminded of George Bernard Shaw, if the quote is really attributed to him. He says, those who can do. Those who can do. Those who can't teach. That's a very sarcastic way, but there is wit and wisdom there also. But it's not actually true to everyone who teaches. Teachers are, We call them, in another word, prophets. But sometimes a teacher can teach a subject, but he did not actually practice it. In fact, I would go for a teacher who has a lot of knowledge about something and can teach me even if he cannot practice. So maybe you have that category for you. Do you know something? You haven't practiced, but you know it very well. And you have the knowledge and the practice. That's a plus for you, okay? Knowledge and practice. So see, for example, I'm in, say, health and safety management, okay? I have studied health and safety. I have international certificates in health and safety. So many certificates, professional certificates, certifications, accreditations. I'm approved for a number of international programs in health and safety. Yes, and I teach it, yes. But did I practice health and safety? Yes, I did. I have practiced it in several positions in a very demanding environment. And I have that background, okay? So that is the part where you share in your resume, in your CV. You say, my knowledge is so and so and so. I have bachelor's in so and so. I have diploma in so and so. I have master's in so and so. And you also list other certificates. That's the knowledge. And then the experience, you say, I fulfilled this position for this time and this position and this position. You do that, don't you, in your resumes? Of course you do. Just removing the pop-up messages. So have you practiced? It's another plus. So look at what you practice. Have you studied it? And look at what you have studied. Did you practice them? Because both of them will make you king in your idea. You have done that, actually. Look at what you have done. So in 2014, a branding agency called me for help. They do copywriting, and they do copywriting, of course, means that creating content for advertising and for branding, okay? So creating content like company titles, like book titles, like content for internet, for advertisement, scripts for printed advertisement or digital, etc. All right? So this guy calls me and says, Mohammed, can you help me? Because I need your help with some English and Arabic content that I need to publish for my client. So I need to make some case studies for some of the success products that he has. So why did he call me? Because he knows that I know Arabic and English both very well, and I can translate easily. And I didn't know what is copywriting. I had no idea what's copywriting. And when I did for him some work, he was amazed. He said, do you know that this is an area which lacks a lot of professionals? We usually have to outsource outside Bahrain, and if we have someone who's non-Arabic, it's very difficult for us. He knows English and he gives us good content in English, but we cannot make it in Arabic and vice versa. But you have both. So, and he enrolled me and engaged me in more businesses with him as an associate. And we created names for companies, names for books, edited books, and I did some work for NGOs, all paid. And I worked with him for 2 years and discovered something about me. That for all my life, I knew both languages very well. But I didn't know that they can go into branding. Now, this might be about career success talk, but I'll get to where public speaking is. So I came to know that, I love copywriting. I didn't know that. It's a side stream. It's another stream of revenue. I didn't pay attention to. It's one of my skills, by the way. And likewise, every one of you has a number of skills. It really stresses me when I hear people say, I don't know much. I know very little. In fact, by birth, by upbringing, by just growing day by day, like a tree, you have actually accumulated and combined to yourself, to your being, to your existence, a lot of knowledge, a lot of experience. But I'm really also sad at how the media and the programming around us, dwarfs us, makes us small, feel small in front of others. When we see someone speaks or performs well in any sector, in any industry, we think we are not there. Who says? Says who? You can, of course. So then I got interested in branding, and he gave me books. I attended courses in copywriting, and I was ready to teach. Yes, and I delivered a number of courses, workshops in copywriting as a side stream of revenue, but a passion which became a product. I didn't know I had that. So similarly, have you learned something, practiced it? Maybe you have practiced it, okay? Now, which brings me to the question number 5 or 6. I don't know. Have you taught something? Sometimes, see, you know something, and practice something. Maybe practice and teach. It gives you another advantage. For example, someone who lost weight in a very record time, okay? He might be a relative, and you say, oh my God, Dina, you have become so thin. What has happened? I've done this. Tell me your secret so you can learn. So she speaks to you, and you learn from that person her secret. But think of someone who has made it through, losing 100, 200 pounds, phenomenally like a miracle, and kept on doing that. They kept on persisting. It's not just out of the blue, this year I'm thin and next year I go back, which 95% of people who go and diet, according to studies, they go back, okay, because they don't do it correctly. But that's why I don't listen to anyone about this. Someone who just lost weight and he wants to teach me, for the first time in his life, he lost weight only a few months ago. Maybe he is good. Maybe he knows something, but it's not credible to me. Credible enough to hand over him. So people will want to know, do you know enough? Did you practice? Are you consistent? Like real, trainers, fitness trainers, okay? And you will be more inclined to learn from them, listen to them, if they actually taught people. So not only they know something, they did something with what they know, but they are teaching people, and their students are talking about him. And similarly, if you teach your knowledge to someone, that's an added plus to you. So think about that. What are you teaching already? Let's go reverse way. What are you teaching already? What are people, even if you're not teaching, what are people ready to learn from you, to sit down and listen and learn from you? Think about that. And whether you teach or not, think about this. Why are they saying that they are ready to become your students? I mean, even public speaking, look at me. I'm 30 years in public speaking, never thought of teaching it. Even after I went to the World Championship finals in 2006 in Washington, D.C., even that time people will say, come on, teach us something. I didn't know how to teach. Alan Watts say, if you are an artist, a creative, not necessarily you are able to turn your knowledge into something teachable. It took me time. And now, of course, I am doing teaching in my own way of public speaking, but that's another issue. So look at what you teach and think, why are people ready to listen to you? And take, trace back and see the reasons why the license people already gave you. the rights that they gave you, the grants that they gave you to learn from you. So what do you know very well? What can you teach? Maybe out of what you know, not everything you can teach, you can speak about, but what can you teach? Look, I don't know how many topics you have so far. I don't know how many ideas you wrote down, but I'm thinking you should have by now 12 topics. And I didn't reach the dozen license to speak. So next, have you solved a problem for anyone, for any entity, for any corporation, for any team? Have you solved a problem? There is no way you can say no. I got you there. You solved problems. Let me remind you, who is an employee by definition? An employee is a problem solver. So you might say, I don't have a day job. I've never worked for anyone. But you work for your clients maybe. You have done a service for someone. You solve problems even for your parents. You solve for your siblings, for your society, your community, your neighborhood, your whatever. Think, what are the problems you solve? Maybe you don't call them problems, but here's the thing, okay? Here's the deal. If people call you to finish this report or write the report in the proper way, that's solving a problem. If people don't know how to put the ideas into PowerPoint, and you do very well, okay, that's solving a problem. If you don't know, again, it's what people call you for, but you have solved the problem. Maybe the projects at your work, these are problem solving, okay? Trust me, if you are no longer able to solve problems, you will be sacked by now. You shouldn't have your job by now. They don't call it in the job description solving problems, but you are able. So can you teach people or speak to your audiences about solving a problem, a tiny problem, any problem? That's a license to speak. That's a right, a grant to speak. And people will listen to you because that's credible speaking. That comes from someone who actually solved a problem. And from someone who will not only say, hello, today I'm going to talk to you about how to open a PowerPoint presentation. You're not going to only say that. You're going to prove to them that you are credible to listen to, because you'll say you have done this actually for people. So solving problems. Maybe you solved small problems, daily routine problems. Catch that, capture that, put this down. Even if they are tiny, you have no idea how many people need you, okay? Go to freelance.com and see how many people give their services on a freelance basis across the globe. Just, anything you can put, I think it's freelance.com, okay? You can put your skills and what the problems, in other words, that you can solve. But that's about career again. But you can also speak. And if people do not know that you can solve problems, get on Instagram, get on any social media platforms, even short YouTube videos, and teach people in 2 minutes or 3 minutes how to do that. When I wanted to do this live, by the way, on Facebook, where did I go? I went to YouTube, and there's this lady, a normal lady, who just teaches people how to use Facebook Live. And look how many followers she has. And I'm ready to pay her to coach me, for example, okay? So look at what you know. Whatever industry, whatever government body you have worked in, you know actually, and you can teach people. You have solved problems. You have done deals for your company. They got the money, you got only your salary. I know that's painful. You have done deals, you have closed deals for your company, you have solved a bottleneck, a conflict in your company with a customer. That is thousands of dollars. And you did it for them. It was you, using your skills, your knowledge, your expertise, whatever. So you are a problem solver. Come on, wake up. Solving problems. And one more thing about knowledge. Maybe you have a qualification, okay? That's an added value. You know something, you have a qualification. Let's go backwards. What qualification you have already? Maybe you have 2, 3, 4, I don't know. Some of the qualifications were very short. They gave you just, for example, an auditor. Okay, I was given the qualification for a lead auditor in my company as part of our auditing tasks, which is part of safety management. Look at this, how tiny the narrowing down of the circles come. But I was given several certificates and qualified lead auditor. So capture that, a lead auditor in something, and you can teach people about auditing, about whatever. So, of course, I'm not talking about if you love what you're going to talk about or not. That's another issue, okay? But I'm saying the vast amount of licenses you have in your life, vast amount of layers of and rights to speak, okay? So all that comes under the first branch by Dale Carnegie, which is knowledge. Knowledge is one, justification. Under that, I told you dozens of ideas of how, and I mean, what makes you eligible and the right to speak. So let's move on to the next one. Again, let me remind you, this is the license to speak live show, where I give you so many rights to speak that makes you credible speaker, okay? That grants you the right to just click and speak and not just be a hollow person who just transforms ideas borrowed from someone else or quoted from someone else. I'm talking about you and what you already know. And guess what? If people do that all the time and share their knowledges, their unique knowledges, look at how much we can serve and help our world, rather than being a copy of someone else, because we are fed up of copy speakers who just repeat the same things. Look about positivity. Everybody says the same thing, but you have your own ideas about positivity and you know about them, for example, and you can share. So let's move on to the next. This program is supported by CMC, Champions Make Champions. It's a 1.5 month best speech bootcamp where we have 24 workshops to help you deliver your best speech. All you need to know to deliver your best speech and more under one roof with 19 champion speakers. You can visit the CMC page and see how you can enroll in this. Even you can get access to all the workshops, those you missed and those you want to attend, plus recordings and many other services for the members area. Okay, so the next one is experience. We said two things. Dale Carnegie said one is knowledge, the other is experience. Now, experience is a tricky word. So what do we mean by experience? Do we mean the thing that you write in your resume? So in your resume, in your CV, what do you write about experience? Okay, I am being mindful of the time, so I don't want to take a lot of time, but you write your experience, the position. So let me take that part of experience, okay? We call it, let me call it the expertise, okay? That is, in your career, what are the jobs you have taken, okay? What are the vocations, the positions in one job? What are the positions you fulfilled? Sometimes in one job, you have been a non-supervisory. You have been a shop floor worker, for example. And then you were promoted to the next level as management. So you have seen both sides of the job line. So put all that in perspective, okay? So the job, the career, and then how much do you know about your work, okay? So sometimes in your resume you write actually what you have been doing, actually what were your responsibilities under that career. So you need to pay attention to everything you've been doing. Each one of them is a separate revenues for stream of revenue, but also for speaking. Under expertise also comes the achievements. Definitely you have done some achievements. Maybe some of them were recognized publicly. Maybe some of them you got a thank you letter or a pat on the back, but they were achievements. So do not look at the magnitude of public recognition, but look at where you were admired actually. What were you admired? That's achievement. What were you awarded for? Please put that in perspective. When was the time that you actually got an award for accomplishing a project, finishing a task, important task, anything? Okay, so think about that. That is also, why were you rewarded for this? Because you did something brilliantly, excellently. So how did you do it excellently? Can you talk to us about it? Of course you can talk. So that's a license to speak. So the expertise level is one branch of the general world experience. Experience can also mean the experimentation. What have you experimented in your life? And I call it again experience. So what have you experienced? These are the things usually you don't write in your resume. These are the things you don't put in your CV. And yet they are very important. They are your best license to speak. Okay? So can you talk about situations you've been through that taught you a lesson? Situations that probably they were events, incidents that took you in a very painful stage of your life, and then you came out of it. Maybe you came out of it not victorious, but if you're alive anyway, and you have learned. Maybe you were defeated by something and someone, and there is no defeat, okay? And as long as you're alive. But you lost something, you lost money, you lost a loved one, so it was a loss. You lost a deal, and you messed up in that. But that is something that taught you something, and you overcame that. Maybe it's an impediment in your, maybe that was, maybe a paralysis, temporary paralysis in your body, and you became, of course, you were disabled for a temporary time, and then you overcame that disease or disablement, and you came, because that's what we use in safety. But anyway, so what have you overcome? Okay, is there a project? You were given a project. Now a project is not. Usually it goes silently but steadily, all right? And you finish a big project and you get your pats on the back. But what did that project help you in? Now, one of the case studies I've done in my company, Alba, it was about safety culture and behavior. And that project helped me understand safety very well with my engagement with people on the shop floor and helping them to overcome and get rid of the shortcuts in the workplace. And guess what? Day by day, that became my philosophy, and then my model, and then my signature program. And then that program, I delivered it, that presentation, I delivered it in the accredited speaker program, and I got the award of accredited speaker last August. And there you go. It was a project, a big project anyway, but I accomplished it and learned a lot from it. Any challenges in your life, any situations you overcame and got out of, successfully, all these are ideas and license to speak. I didn't want to go to an hour, but I did now, I know. I hope that was helpful. And you have the right to speak, actually. And everyone actually has the permission, the basic by default. Anyone can click the live button or the record button and speak. But who can be credible enough to speak? If you want people actually to dig deeper and follow you and want to be your audience or your protege, your student, whatever, then use these two licenses to speak. Knowledge, and we said a long list of things you already know. You already know by now so many things in life, in your professional and personal life, social life, and your academic life, so many things you know already. And the other one is experience, and we said experience has, again, two branches. One is expertise, as what we write in our resumes, and the other part is experienced in life, and that is the best place to speak. Okay, the stories I shared tonight are my experiences, okay? The story about branding, you remember that, right? So all of these are your license to speak. And the CMC program, Champions Make Champions, we actually help people acknowledge, recognize their license to speak, and help them on the artistic manner how to make your speaking more profitable, more powerful, more persuasive, whether you're going into a speech contest or do you have a pitch for your presentation, for your business, for your product, whatever the case is. So the CMC, Champions Make Champions, helps you in that boot camp, 6 weeks boot camp to deliver your speech, design and deliver your best speech with the help of 24 workshops, 19 champions that have reached to the world-class level. And you can visit the CMC Facebook page and know how to enroll, and you can contact the people there. You can have access for $50 to all the workshops, whether those you missed, because we have all the recordings, and those that can come, plus other membership features. If there is a minute for anyone, or 2 minutes, anyone has a question, you can type, and or you can comment. Yes, it's okay, Ellie. I think, yeah, I'm sure that the live, it will be available. Thank you for passing by despite your time zone, Ellie. I appreciate that. So this program, this live show will be available anyway. After we are done with it, if you have any question. So let me just wave for those I missed. I got so engaged in the talk. I want to thank you all for being here. Isa, Perry, hi Perry, Nasser, Ahmed, Ravi, Tisha from Philippines, Hari Krishnan, Hussein Makki, thank you all, Ahmed. Okay, let me just say hello to everyone. Thank you very much for being here with us, and see you soon in the CMC program or anywhere else. But remember, you have the license to speak. You have the license to speak and credibly speak, and speak from the heart with passion. You have so many ideas. I hope you have more than 24 topics written down by now, and if you keep reflecting, brainstorming, it will come. You will see that you have been taught by the universe, by God, a lot of things. By life has taught you a lot of things. Just share them. Share those which you are more attached to. They are more dear to your heart. Okay, do that. Okay, thank you, Nigel, and everyone else, and wishing you a pleasant rest of the weekend if you are where your weekend is Sunday. And I want to wish everyone also a Merry Christmas, our brothers and sisters, Christian brothers and sisters. Happy Thanksgiving, Happy Christmas, and wish everyone all the best. Bye-bye, and see you.